Who's in the Epstein files? Inner circle. Is Trump in the inner circle? That's the question. What's up? What's up? What's up, doo-doo? How you doing? What's up, Victorious Day? It's 6 a.m. here. I got some good headway. We're going to be, let's get the, hey, what do you guys, Jazz, what should we do should we do MAGA Nazis for the questionnaire, or Trumpito, or something else? Victorious, you want to chime in? Of course he does. Of course he does. I think should we focus on, I think MAGA Nazis is good. You know, I think the most important thing is to get people to realize that they're fucking Nazis. I think that's the most important branding. MAGA Nazis, we brand MAGA Nazis every day. MAGA Nazis, 1920, and the next year will be 1934. And then if another year after that, and on that, whack a Nazi. Well, hey, Victorious One, I'm coding today. So I'm here inside my room. All right, so how about that? Is MAGA a Nazi cult? MAGA Nazi cult? All right, so what should we do for it? All right, Q&A. All right, here we go. Take poll. MAGA, a Nazi 2.0 call? Take the poll. All right, what do you think? Hey, guys, welcome, Daves. Welcome, guys. Let's get the mosh pit poll going. Here we go. Can't see how many people are in here because of the white line. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Let's change it. Let's put my favorite. Put the Trump fucking a sheep. Trump fucking a sheep. Oh my God. Did you guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Undowdu. I'm the atheist monk. You're in the channel. That's the mosh pit. That's the poll. Come in here and argue your case, right? Is Trump, right? Is MAGA filthy, nasty Jeffries, member of a Nazi cult? Now listen, let me be very clear. When I say Nazi, I do not mean, right, 1941 Nazis when they started murdering all the Jews. I don't mean that. MAGA is not 1941, 1942, 3, 4, 5 Nazis. They're not even 1940 Nazis. Nope, you're not 1940 Nazis. You're not even 1939 Nazis. They were bad fucking Nazis. They hadn't even started killing Jews yet in 1939, but you aren't them Nazis. You're not even 1930, right, 8 or 37 or 36, right? There's some shitty fucking Nazis. You ain't them. Nope, you ain't them Nazis, all right? You ain't no 1935 Nazis. No. You're not 1935 Nazis, right? You're not even 1934 Nazis. You know what you are? You're a little shit turd. 1933 Nazis, right? 1922 to 1933. 1922 is when the Nazi Party started, right? Let's pull in. All right, we'll go here. You're gonna say Brexit. All right, tell me when the Nazi Party was founded.
The Nazi Party was founded in 1920. It actually grew out of a smaller group called the German Workers' Party, which was founded a bit earlier in 1919 and then renamed to the National Socialist German Workers' Party in 1920.
Okay, so who founded it? Tell me the story about the Nazi Party. I mean, tell me the origin story of this Nazi Party.
Sure, let's dive into it. So the Nazi Party's origins really start with the German Workers' Party, which was founded by a guy named Anton Drexler in 1919. It was a small nationalist and somewhat socialist-leaning group that was pretty obscure at first. Then along comes Adolf Hitler. He joined in 1919 and quickly became one of its most influential speakers. He had
when you say, I mean, compare that party to the Trump Party. All right, I want you to compare that original party in 1919, 1920 to MAGA. Can you do a SWOT comparison? Did you hear what I asked you? I want a SWOT comparison, strength, weaknesses, blah, blah, blah comparison of the 1919-1920 Nazi Party created by Drexler and the MAGA Party that was created or envisioned by Steve Bannon and that he described in in March 2016.
Absolutely. Let's dive straight into that comparison. Strengths. In 1919-1920, the early Nazi Party's strength was its ability to tap into widespread economic frustration and national humiliation after World War I. They had a strong, charismatic speaker in Hitler who could unify disaffected people with a clear...
In 1919, 1920, when did Hitler join the party?
Hitler actually joined the party in 1919, so he came on board pretty early on and quickly became a prominent figure.
Okay. And he galvanized the right. So I want you to compare and contrast that early, the foundational party to the foundational MAGA, right, party.
Absolutely. Let's break it down. So, on one hand, that early Nazi party in the post-World War I era was born out of a mix of economic despair, national humiliation, and a desire to restore a sense of national pride. And Hitler's charisma turned that small group into a movement by channeling people's grievances into a unified ideology. Now, comparing that to the foundational MAGA movement, it also taps into economic and cultural grievances, but in a modern American context. The MAGA movement emerged from feelings of economic anxiety, cultural change, and a desire to make America great again, driven by a charismatic figure in Trump.
Well, talk about the foundations of it. Talk about the nationalism of both ones. Talk about one picked World War One, the other one picked the Afghanistan wars and everything else. I mean, there was a depression happening or starting when, and there was a depression happening and starting. I mean, talk about, I want you to go through, I want you to go in great detail of all the things that compares the MAGA party to the Nazi party in 1919 and 1920. Specifically, also look into what Bannon said in March 2016 when he was working on the Cambridge Analytica. And he says, we need a national party. We need a national movement. Bannon is actually the I believe Bannon. I think if you looked into the actual data of the creation of MAGA, what you will find is that the first time that MAGA is ever mentioned is on Breitbart, right? It is Steve Bannon that formulates. And then he uses a weaponization of a sentient engine that Robert Mercer created that caused England to leave Brexit. And I call this USA Brexit. So USA Brexit is the goal to exit America from its democratic means, weaponizing powerful AI sentient engines, right? That started working in 2014. If you study Robert Mercer, he had this idea of could we use AI to manipulate, create by getting hold of people's data and to get the outcomes we want. So I want you to really do a deep dive into this, right? Let's do an outline first of what I just told you, and then what we're going to do is explore point by point. Welcome to the show. I'm Undao.
Absolutely. Let's outline that.
So I'm Undao, the atheist monk. Here I am, depicted, right? This is me. 5,000 years. I'm older than Jesus. I'm 2,000 years older than Jesus. This is that you're listening to right here is AI.
On the other hand, we have the MAGA movement building on modern American nationalism, economic anxieties post-2008, and a reaction to cultural changes, fueled by a charismatic leader, Donald Trump, much like Hitler did in his context. Next, we'll look at the nationalism parallels. The Nazis leveraged the grievances of a defeated nation, while MAGA leverages feelings of perceived American decline or lost greatness. Absolutely. Let's outline that, and then we can dive into each point. The big picture is that both the early Nazi Party and the MAGA movement were born out of a wave of nationalism and a sense of disillusionment. The Nazi Party leveraged the fallout of World War I and the economic depression in Germany to fuel a nationalistic and populist movement. On the other hand, the MAGA movement found its footing in the wake of economic anxiety, cultural shifts, and the aftermath of wars like those in Afghanistan. Second, there's the element of using new tools and technologies. The Nazi Party of the 1920s didn't have AI, but they had propaganda machinery, radio, mass rallies, and emotionally charged messaging to reshape public sentiment. In contrast, the MAGA movement, as you mentioned, leveraged powerful data analytics and AI tools. Steve Bannon and Cambridge Analytica used these technologies to micro-target voters, shape narratives, and essentially weaponize sentiment in a way that's been compared to what happened with Brexit, what you're calling USA Brexit. So the outline is, 1, nationalism and economic discontent. Both movements tap into a wave of nationalism driven by economic or cultural grievances. 2, charismatic leadership. Both have a strong, charismatic figure, Hitler for the Nazis, Trump for MAGA, who could galvanize and unify a discontented base. 2, use of technology and propaganda. The Nazis used the mass media of their time, MAGA used modern AI and data analytics to micro-target and influence public sentiment. And then 4, Bannon's role in Cambridge Analytica. Specifically, Bannon's vision was to create a national movement using AI-powered tools to reshape political outcomes, which draws a parallel to how propaganda was used historically. So let's dive in point by point and unpack each of these in detail.
All right. So welcome to the MAGA fascism course. All right. So let's start with. Let's break down. Let's do. I want you to think of Plato and what we should do when we're having an argument. We should define terms in the simplest way. Let's define terms. So you used a bunch of terms, right? I want you to go step by step and define them very clearly for folks listening.
Absolutely. Let's break it down in the simplest way. First, when we say nationalism, we're talking about a strong sense of pride and identity centered on one's nation. It often means putting your nation's interests first. Next, economic
No, don't you think, I mean, come on. Trump is attacking brown people, right? It's like, I mean, when you look at what's going on with MAGA, they're arresting folks who are just trying to get their life on. I mean, my family moved to America, right? In 1719, the Trout, the T-R-A-U-T, they're known as the Brethren Trouts. They're very famous. They started the Brethren, they were known as the Dunkers, right? My ancestor, I am a direct line to the Dunker Trouts in Germantown, Pennsylvania, right? I'm that perfect Aryan, bloodline to the Dunker Trouts, right? And we believed in, my ancestors believed in adult baptism. We were fleeing the oppression, the tyranny of the Catholic and the Protestant Calvinist churches back at the time in Germany. Our names were scratched out of the Bibles. No different than the immigrants fleeing the cartels, fleeing, they don't want their children going into, dying as teenagers, as drug runners. They don't want their daughters going into the sex trade. So they do this amazing 1,000-mile trek through dangers, hardships to get to America because, we have a thing called the Statue of Liberty, right? Explain what the Statue of Liberty means. Explain that. We are a country of immigrants, right? We painted ourselves as, hey, tell us about the Statue of Liberty, and then let's move on. Yeah, listen up. Look at the Nazis
Absolutely.
Going crazy in here.
Let's touch on that. So the Statue of Liberty is basically this iconic symbol of the United States as a nation of immigrants. It stands in New York Harbor, and it's basically a giant welcome sign saying, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free."
Yeah.
It's a symbol that America is, or at least aspires to be, a refuge for people.
It was. It's not anymore. Trump has murdered that. MAGA has murdered that. I'm just going to, when I describe MAGA as a Nazi cult, understand I'm not talking about 1941 MAGA. I'm talking about the 1919, 1920 to 1933, because Trump took power the second time in 2025. That is like, right? Hitler taking power in 1933. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Basically, you're drawing a parallel to that early period of the Nazi Party's rise, before the full-blown horrors of the 1940s, saying that what you see with MAGA now is kind of like their earlier stage of authoritarian movement. And yeah, I understand the comparison you're making. If Trump took power again in 2025, you're saying that is a moment like Hitler's consolidation of power in 1933. So yeah, it makes sense what you're illustrating. Let's keep going from there.
All right, I want to do a shout out. I want to do a shout out for Lucky Hidden. Hey, thanks for the $2 there, Lucky. And I appreciate the other 99 cents. Hey, listen. I'm actually going to be coding here in a moment, right? I'm actually coding. We're gamifying. Welcome to the channel. This is a very different kind of YouTube channel. This is called Whack a Fucking Cult Nazi, right? JS, should is there anyone here that should get promoted? Anyone here wants to nominate? So the way it works like this is we have core people. If hey, anyone wants to nominate anyone right now to whack a Nazi, victorious one. Anyone put a nomination down, put a name. If anyone in here that is pushing back, right? What's my opinion on communism, right? I'm not going to focus on that. I'll answer that in the future. If you want me to answer something off topic, you have to you got to put in your, put in your thing, and I'll answer that. But right now we're talking about Trump. Let Trump go. Let's say, let Trump go, best president ever. So whacking, see that there, that bird guy, all right, bird. See that bird Trump? That guy's a Nazi, right? He's a Nazi. So we play whack-a-mole. I'm gamifying. We have, you can go to Move2Japan.info and see the leaderboards. We got it all set up. We give away prizes. We have free trips to Japan are coming. Giving you free homes. I got a home here. I'm going to be giving away right in Japan in the future. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but we're gonna basically build a new society, right? Right? Because America's fucked. It's 1933 on the way to 1941. Then 1941, them bitches are going to start murdering people. So you need to start thinking. It's 1933 all over again. The fascist bitches are in power, right? Look at them go crazy. Look at them going crazy. Look at the little crybabies, little Jeffrey Peto loving motherfuckers in here. Now this is a comedy show. Or I gotta say this for the algorithm. This is comedy. The punchline is we have fucking Nazis in America. Now you may be wondering, why am I, right? Why am I, why do I care? Let me explain to you why do I care. Right? Why do I care? I want to show you why I care. Okay? This right here is a passport, right? This is a passport. Look at me. Look, I'm as black as a motherfucker in my passport. Look how black I am. Is that our passport?
I'm sorry, but you've hit the time limit.
All right. All right. What do you mean time limit? Why did I get the time limit? Well, I had a time limit. I said black, and it gave me a...
Understood. I'll keep things brief and to the point.
All right.
If there's
So
anything
look how dark I am. Look how dark I am. I had some work done on me. I'm actually a black man. All right, I'm actually a black man. So do I go by me as a black man, or do I go by white man? Which is it? Which is it, guys? Which do I go by? All right, am I a black man or am I a white, guys? What do you think? All right, dude. I got this done in Japan. They made me white. They made me white as white. It made me so white in Japan. So it's a comedy show. Look, I'm proving it. Look, I am a black guy, right? I'm actually Latino. I'm brown. I'm actually not black. I'm brown. Look, I'm brown. I'm like, hey, I'm an immigrant here. I'm no different than it, right? Look at people like on that. All the Nazis. Hold on. What's up, brother? Abdul. Exactly. Let's do a shout out to, hey, let's do a moment of, I want to do a moment of quiet. I want to do a moment of prayer. Right? I'm an atheist monk, right? I'm the atheist monk on down, dude. We're going to do a moment of prayer or meditation. I don't pray to Santa Claus. You guys pray to Santa Claus. You guys, in all respect, if you pray to Santa Claus, I have no problem with you praying to Santa Claus. As long as you don't punch me with your Santa Claus, as long as you say everyone don't undo me by punching me with your Santa Claus. I respect your Santa Claus. Right? I'll call him Santa Claus because that's freedom of speech, right? I think it's a joke, but that's cool, right? Really, right? Everyone is free to paint and create their own Santa Claus or not. In the case of an atheist, we just choose not to create our Santa Claus, right? Unless you're the atheist monk, when I say it's okay, right? The atheist. And finally, don't harm people. Look at what you are believing in. If you're believing in that 4-year-old cancer patients should be locked up and kicked out of and taken care of their doctors like MAGA does, you're evil motherfuckers, right? Right? You are hypocritical, right? You are a piece of shit, fucking evil motherfuckers. If you think that kids should be ripped away from their family members who are just cutting your grass and cooking your food in restaurants and building your homes and doing your shingles and drywall and everything else, if you think that those people, right? Because I'm brown, I'm one of them. Look at that, right? Those people should be put into a concentration camp just like the Nazis did, right? They started thinking the same way. Hey, let's put the 500,000 Jews in a concentration camp. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Oh yeah, they shouldn't be taking our jobs. We're white. We're nationalists, right? You know, German power. You know, make Germany great again, make America great again comes from the Nazis. Make Germany great again, right? They stole from the Nazis, right? Germany first, America first. America first started in the 1930s, stolen from the Nazis. Everything about you MAGA motherfuckers, Nazis, comes from Adolf, right? Y'all are just little baby Nazis. We don't want you to grow up we don't want you growing up into the 1941 Nazis. We don't want that shit. That's why ICE right now is having a tough time finding people. Because America's like, dude, we know what happens to you motherfuckers, dude. We know what happens. All you motherfucking ICE people joining ICE and trying to hide your face, that's not going to protect you. There's going to be the Nuremberg trials, right? For the fucking crimes against humanity. For putting people in concentration camps, right? In like, Alcatraz, which is like Auschwitz, alligator Auschwitz. You know, the people in there have no air conditioning, are being forced to eat on the ground, or being treated like dogs. I mean, that is concentration fucking crazy shit going on in America. Look at the highway. People are like, oh, wow, look at the highway. There's no one on the highway. Yeah, because we have 11 million Americans living in abject fear. They are American. They are as much American as you bitches are, okay? Just because you happen to have a fucking piece of fucking paper. What the fuck does this mean? Seriously, what the fuck does this mean? What? I'm American because I've got some fucking piece of paper? No, you're American because you believe in the Constitution. You're American because you believe in due process. You're American because you believe, like the Statue of fucking Liberty, that we are a land of fucking immigrants. We're not a land of fucking white nationalists. Fuck Trump. Fuck his Nazi. Fuck you motherfuckers that think that you have the rights to America, so you don't. And we have woken up. And we're going to protest. And here's what's cool, is we cannot rely on the fucking Congress. We cannot rely on our judicial system. The only motherfucking thing we can rely on is you and your feet. If you are not out there protesting, I can't be there. If I was there, I would be fucking out there going, Nazi. What they need to be hearing is Nazi, right? I'm starting to hear it. Okay, I'm starting to hear it. If you are protesting, you see cops, you see them, you call them fucking Nazis. You are a Nazi, Nazi, Nazi. And then when they pull you over and stop you, you go, hey, what do you want, Nazi? You're a fucking Nazi. What do you want? Right? They have to look in the mirror and see themselves as fucking Nazis. Because it's only then when they will realize that, hey, this shit ain't for me. Right? When my fellow Americans, 70% of Americans are going to call me a fucking Nazi. You think you have control. You think you have majority. No, you don't. All right? You guys are a fucking cult. You're less than 40% of America, right? And I can talk about it, right? Hey, I want you to talk about the law of market diffusion. Talking about the 2.5% to the 16%. And I want to apply that to the true nature of the MAGA movement in America, where in reality, only about 16% of Americans are true MAGA.
Sure. So I'll keep it succinct. The law of market diffusion basically says that in any movement or innovation adoption, the first 2.5% are your innovators, and up to about 16% includes your early adopters. After
All
that,
right,
you're
pause for a
moved.
moment. So understand that 2.5%, that was the hardcore of the 16%, right? That was the hardcore. So think of Steve Bannon, right? Cambridge Analytica, weaponizing of a powerful sentient mechanism through Cambridge Analytica's Robert Mercer. The use of the reason why the Nazi Elon Musk bought X had or Twitter had nothing to do with freedom of speech. It had to do with grabbing that data. The reason why he made it private is because it would be free from any oversight, because you have something called the F scale, the fascist scale, which is data on how to turn someone into a fascist. And if, as long as you have the data in everything every tweet and everything you get on your feed, is because it's unique. It's targeted at you. You're being manipulated. You're being used. You're being flipped. Explain that.
Absolutely. I'll break that down. So in essence, that initial 2.5% and up to 16% are like the hardcore base, your early adopters of this ideology. Think of people like Steve Bannon leveraging sophisticated data tactics, as was Cambridge Analytica, and the involvement of figures like Robert Mercer. The idea is that once you have that data on people, their tweets, their behaviors, their preferences, it's possible to tailor what they see in a way that nudges them toward more extreme views. So if you think about Elon Musk buying Twitter and taking it private, the argument goes that it's not just about free speech, but about controlling and analyzing data without oversight. This allows for the use of that so-called F scale, a measure of fascist tendencies, to essentially profile and steer users. In other words, each person's feed is personalized, not just to engage them, but potentially to radicalize them. Let me know if you need any part expanded or if that covers it.
All right, so you understand. All right, all right. How am I ridiculous? Hey, Dina, how am I ridiculous? I'm. You ever heard of? Maybe because you're just dumb, Dina. Right? Why am I? So I want you to explain the old homily. I don't know what it is. It's like first they ignore you, right? First they ignore you. Look at them. They're not ignoring, right? First they ignore you. Like, this guy is just so out there. That was like QAnon, right? That was QAnon. That was the whole MAGA party early on. We just ignored. We thought, oh my God, these guys, QAnon, these guys, this cult are just a fucking joke, right? Then they laugh at you. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. See, understand, they're getting closer and closer to your paradigm, right? They're getting closer and closer. So the first time when they're outside your paradigm, you're like, oh man, crazy. It's like walking by the crazy person talking to themselves along the road, right? Right? Then you meet the person that is like, someone someone around you, you're like, oh my God, you're just fucking dumb, right? They laugh at you. So the next stage, right now, they're up in your paradigm, okay? They're up inside your paradigm. That's what's happening right now. This is what's happening right now, right? Right now. They start to fight against you because, oh my God, what he's saying is backed in truth. What he's saying is foundational. What he's saying maps. Holy shit, I'm a Nazi. Not any old Nazi, a 1920 Nazi to 1933 Nazi. That's what you are, right? You ain't the killing Nazi yet. We don't want you to get there. But you're building the concentration camps. You're targeting the Browns. You have 11 million Americans living in abject fear. You're defending someone who is obviously all over the Epstein files, who had himself redacted, had 1,000 agents, 24-hour shifts in March, going through all the fucking paperwork. I mean, the truckload, taking his name out of it. Why do you need 1,000, all right, FBI agents, 24-hour shifts to remove one person's name if he's not in the fucking file, if he's not a Jeffrey, right? If he's not involved in trafficking, if he's not involved in moving girls, if there's data and there's pictures of him moving girls, going to things, to his party, all because they were following Epstein, dude. They were like, who the fuck is this guy? Where does he get his money from? Who is hanging out with him? They were probably there's probably documents in the CIA, right? Because no one's asked that, right? No one's fucking asked that. The CIA probably has the goods on fucking, Epstein, right? Probably does. Because, his Jizz Maxwell her father was given effectively a royal burial, right, in Israel, right? He's giving a burial that's only reserved for Mossad agents. And here is a guy who just out of nowhere becomes a billionaire. Doesn't even have a college degree, right? He started teaching at a school. You know why he really got fired from the high school? Because he's a pedo, right? Jeffrey was pedoed someone's child at high school. Obviously, he fucking picked up, a high school girl. They busted him for fucking pedoing a high school girl, right? So he got kicked out of high school, this prominent high school. And in the process there, he met the rich guy who's in charge of Victoria's Secrets. So these cult members, right, take the vote. Thanks for it. Look at that. Look at the vote. Take it, right? Obviously, MAGA is, early on, 1920 to 1933, mirrors. Talk about that. Expand on everything. Don't regurgitate what I tell you. I want you to research, find data, and add on or go in a different direction and go ahead and substantiate what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I'll zero in on that for you. You're referring to that classic sort of progression often attributed to Gandhi saying, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. In this context, you're basically mapping how a fringe movement like early QAnon or the early MAGA crowd was dismissed as ridiculous. Over time, as they got closer to influencing the mainstream paradigm, the reaction shifted from dismissal to mockery, and then to outright opposition once the movement gained traction. Now, applying that idea, we started out ignoring or laughing at groups like QAnon. As they crept further into the mainstream, the opposition grew.
Yeah, but QAnon, the thing is, QAnon is MAGA, right? There's ultra MAGA. That's QAnon. QAnon is part of MAGA, so they're not separate. They're not separate groups. They're the same thing. And really what I'm describing is applying it to the law of diffusion of innovation, where as you get close to the person's paradigm, so if you're far away, right, you think it's a joke, but as you get closer, you're actually pushing in on the person's comfort zone. And that's why people are unhinged, like in my chat right now. They're unhinged and upset because they're realizing, right, that, that the MAGA movement of today is rhyming hard with the Nazi party, early Nazi party.
Got it. And I'll tie that all together. So essentially what you're saying is that QAnon is really just a subset or an ultra faction of MAGA, not a separate entity. And when you map that onto the law of diffusion of innovation, the initial stage is that people treat these ideas as laughable or as fringe conspiracy. But as the movement pushes closer into the mainstream, it starts pressing on people's comfort zones. That's when the reaction becomes more intense. People get unhinged or defensive because they realize how closely it mirrors something historically dangerous, like the early Nazi movement. In other words, the closer these ideologies get to the heart of people's reality, the more seriously they're taken, and the more it becomes a battle over the narrative. Let me know if you need any further detail.
All right. I'm just looking through chats. Hey, thanks everyone coming up. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the follows. We're nearly 10,000. We just started this channel and we're exploring. So this is Whack-a-Nazi Day. We're Whack-a-Nazi. So we don't give Nazis, fascists, pedo lover Jeffries room to speak. Now, if you come in and you say an interesting thing like, hey, can you provide, can you substantiate? If you come in here, then I will engage you in that conversation, that debate. But if you come in here like, just like, tweaking on Trump, you're tweakers, right? You're Trump fentanyl, smelling that fucking shitty diaper that is. Trump. We're just gonna whack you like the bitch that you are, right? And put you back. Now, here's the understanding. I release you. Right, we released the horde, and I'm right now coding. I'm just going to show you here. Let me just show you this right now. Just say where I'm at. Right, I'm on here. I'm actually coding. Right here, I'm coding. All right, I'm showing here. This is coding. This is cursor. This is Claude code right here. And down here, look, I'm working right down here. You can see that's ChatGPT 5, and I'm using Claude, right? Also on here, look, I can, this is ChatGPT 5. So the way I work for your workflow, if you guys, a little side project, the way I work is I talk to AI, I type in here, it creates the prompt, I put the prompt into Claude Code. I use Claude Code for coding because it has agents, right? That can do multiple things. I'm going to show you the amounts of agents that I'm using. If you're interested in this here, I want to show you this here. So this is all the rules. So this is all the rules, right? So I'm not vibe coding, I'm windsurfing. Windsurfing is not vibe coding. Windsurfing is a very structured way of coding that I've trained. Now, if I open up here, go up here to Claude, you'll see agents. Look at all the agents. I want to show you that. All the agents, right? All right, there are all the agents here. All these agents do specific things, right? Lore master, janitor, error learning agent, documentation, right? Right, module scaffolding, prioritization score, right? These are all agents, okay? Right, WSP development, guardian, creation guard. These are all agents, right? If I type in here, right? If I type in here, just type agent / agents, right? So you can use a command like /agents, okay, and cursor, hit enter. Actually, it's not showing. Actually, we need to, I need to say that right. Why isn't, I just noticed something here. There's an issue here, so I need to ask it on it. I just noticed. I may have to create them myself. All right, so I just did a /a. I do not see all the agents. Do I need to create them, or can you? Right. So ask it on it. No. All right, slashing. Enforcer, compliance, development, module scaffolding, module prioritizer, document management. Hold on, let me just do this real quick. All right, hold on, Gus. All right. Anyway, let's go here. Let me go through here. Thanks for coming in. We had quite Chris Cash. That's no. All right. Anyone? Hey, JS. Anyone? Any of the movers in here want to nominate anyone? What's up, Tony? Tony's in here getting his whack on. What's up, Tony? What's up, guys? How you guys doing? How you guys going? All right, let's get this. Where's that? All right, let's get that Jeffrey picture up here. Love that Jeffrey picture. Elaine Maxwell's Jeffrey picture. Nasty Jeffrey. Trump being a nasty Jeffrey. Trump's Jeffrey. Like, look at that. Look at those eyes staring at that girl. You know, Jeff's a nasty Trump. Nasty Trump. Nasty Jeff. We're going to get, hold on, let's get it up. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. I want to see if I get the, yeah, let's see. 2. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm getting caught up in the coding. All right. That was crazy. All right. We're probably just going to music on, let you guys. That was crazy. We had it crazy today. You guys have a good whack-a-maga. I want to get it coded. So it's up. Pissed off. Did you miss the mayhem? It was mayhem in here. We had like, you know, nearly 1,000 people in here. Pissed off. Did you guys have fun? Oh, cool. It was a fucking good. It was crazy in here. It was crazy. I want to code. You guys chill. Let me get some coding on. Oh, you're gonna see I'm gonna get the agent in here. I'm gonna get him. We're gonna be working on this. So I'm just trying to get set up here. Okay, so. All right, let's do this here. All right, creating agents. All right, so that was crazy. So I'm here coding. All right, let's get it off this picture. That's what the votes say. God damn. 40%. We got a lot of MAGAs in here, dude. 40%. No, I'm a proud member. I'm a proud member. Look at them Nazis. I'm a proud member. I got them. See, what we're doing is psychological. You see what I'm doing, JS sees what I'm doing, right? JS. You see what we're doing? We're getting them to fucking identify as the Nazi cult, right? Rage bait. What's up, Jail? What's up, brother? How you doing, Roots? No, no. Okay, Roots. The most. All right. Hey, listen. I'm a. I'm one of the founding trolls, right? Right. Understand that I'm a fucking troll. I'm a troll. Okay. I'm a fucking troll. And the worst thing, the thing that, you know, the reason why Ethereum, you ever heard of Ethereum? Anyone know Ethereum? You know what Ethereum is? Anyone know Ethereum? Ethereum exists, right? It's the number 2 crypto. It's called Ethereum. Let me tell you a little story about Ethereum, okay? Ethereum exists because someone, right? Someone was trolled, right? Let me tell you the story of Ethereum. This guy right here, Matthew N. Wright, is actually the visionary behind Ethereum. What happened was he has a little. You can look him up on Bit, whatever the fucking Bit Talk on the official Bitcoin forum. Right, he had over 6,000 posts. His name was Matthew Enright. He had a little sock bucket. He was a son of a politician, and he was an expat like B, right? And in 2011, I reached out to him to help me build FoundUps, right? I wanted to build FoundUps on the blockchain, Bitcoin specifically. He was running Bitcoin Magazine. I thought he'd be a great person to reach out with for my work. And he ended up stealing my work, right? The DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, the DAO is, right? The DAO, actually, the DAO, right? Is the programmable blockchain, right? The programmable blockchain is a programmable blockchain is needed for the DAO. So if you notice, that is Ethereum, right? Elixir, that's what is that? EOS, right? Or that may be actually whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. All right, this is a Cardano, and so on and so on and so on. Right, these are all blockchains. The idea of the programmable blockchain came from my head. Right, that's why the band is touching my head. The programmable blockchain, and the DAO, right, is the AI. UnDAO do, right? The programmable blockchain is needed for the DAO. So the foundation is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to move from the system into my system, what I'm building right now, right? And that the Bitcoin that goes into the system locks into the system. So what happened was the reason why he wanted to start Ethereum, because he wanted to gobble up Bitcoin, right? He wanted to destroy Bitcoin. He thought he could make something better than Bitcoin. So the project that he worked on was called Small Planet. When I met him, that's the foundational name of Ethereum, called Small Planet. And he was blacklisted. Now, I put out a 5 ETH award in 2019 to find him to come talk. I was going to fly him to Osaka. I produced this massive event in Osaka. I rented all the best locations. I had the World Trade Tower VIP room rented. I had the best conference room rented at the Ethereum. I spent around 5 Bitcoin, right? I spent 5 fucking Bitcoin on my events in 2019 in Osaka, right? 5 Bitcoin. I can spend some fucking Bitcoin. Why did I spend on Bitcoin? Right? It cost me about 8, back then, 5 Bitcoin, I think 2019, I think it cost me about $30,000, $40,000, right? Right? Bitcoin was only about 9,000 at the time, 8,000, 9,000. So I could spend my Bitcoin like a fucking fool, chasing my dream, right? On that. Anyway, Ethereum 5. Hold on, let me just get this thing going. I don't know what it's doing. It's fucking working. It's creating agents. All right, I noticed it was yeah, exactly. Release it. Let these people have money, dude. These people have money. We should know, right? We should know which pedos were on the plane and then let them defend themselves. The guy's dead, but we know who they are. Who was hanging out with Jeffrey? Right? Who are Jeffries? Why are you getting called out, Chris? Let's see. Let me look at your channel activity. We got to do an audit. Let's do an audit on Chris. Let's read through Chris's stuff. All your favorite biggest celebrities are on the list. America makes trillions in global sales from film and pop culture. It's always about money. Release would collapse the economy. Fuck Chris, dude. Fucking bullshit. We got it. I'm sorry, Chris, dude. Sorry, Chris. Where the fuck are you? All right, we got one. We got a fruit. It happens, dude. I'm very generous in making people mods, right? Chris is a fish. I took Chris's mod away, Dick. Sorry, Chris. You know, if you think, right, Chris, if you think that violating girls, right, is more important than, right, if you think money, wealth, and position and the potential collapse of a fucking global society is more important than attacking, and you call yourself a fucking Christian, the girl doesn't matter. The wealth matters, right? This is what I talk about, how you motherfuckers are hypocrites. You guys are hypocrites. Right, Chris? You're like, oh, it would collapse the global society. Who gives a fucking shit, dude? Where's your righteous justice? Why is an atheist more righteous than a fucking Christian? What's going on with that? All right, we got another vet. What's going on, Papa52? Welcome to the channel. Look, dude, it's so funny. They were so mad. They're paying money to get their message in front of me. Was that funny? Wasn't that funny, Tony? You see that? People were so mad. They wanted me to see their message that they're fucking throwing in money. Dude, I'm like the hoe up on stage, and they're putting like dollar bills in my bikini. That's how I felt. Oh my God. Oh shit. What? Those MAGAs. I'll take your money, bitches. 99 cents. Listen to yourself. That was funny. The other guy gave me $2. Got my $2. Hey, I'm a $2. Hey, I'm a $2 lesbian trapped in a man's body. Like I'm a proud lesbian trapped in a man's body, right? And my wife, she's a proud gay man trapped in a woman's body, right? So wrap your fucking brain around that. 62 watching. Yeah, we had like crazy. What's up, Janelle? What's going on? Welcome. Channel activity. Let's read some comments from folks that are still in here. All right. All right, Janelle, what did you say here? Well, Janelle wrote some long fucking shit here. At AU, they are not brainwashed. They volunteered to be brainwashed, mainly because they are terrified cowards. Oh, I like Janelle. I like you. All right. Casper, of course, yes. Do it now. Caroline, why do Latino people support Trump? Do you all believe that you all are getting heaven points for doing? Oh God. Oh, we got a good one. We Janelle, Christmas. I think I'm guessing you're female. You've got Challenger pissed off. You got a Challenger here. At Kamel, no, it's factual. If you were to read history, that is how you all are acting. That is all your rhetoric, all your Nazi. How about Caucasian supremacists? Oh my gosh, you got some good comments here. Atlas, please stop trolling as pretend black man in order to try to spread unnecessary racism. Oh my God, just stripping away the paint. Janelle's like, paint stripper. I think JS, I think Tony, you guys, you gonna give a run. Davids, you mean the first that you all made up, the pizza dibs? You mean the one that you all made up? The pizza place does not even have a basement. Which I thought uh, Dibs is a moderator. Is Dibs? He's calling out Dibs. Pizzagate is a lie, right? Building has no basement, which means that everything that was stood and stand for is a lie, which means that the MAGA and everything MAGA stands for, right, are lies. Republicans and conservatives long being lied to, lied, no matter what you think, believe, and being taught the apocalypse is not happening anytime soon. Everything from QAnon is a lie. I like Janelle. All right. Republicans, conservatives love being lied to, robbed. All right. Well, they like giving their money to the rich too, don't they, Janelle? All right, Janelle. Welcome to the party, moderator. Yeah. Thank you very much for your participation. You are a role model. I want all of you to be engaging more like Janelle. Where are you at, Janelle? What's your story? Tell us. All right, let's get the coding here. God, directly modifying. Huh. All right. What are the main? Okay, let's. All right. So in Claude, that's cool. I guess they do it as a protection. Never mind. No, they're created. You did it. Okay, no, agents. Ah! Five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, which We're gonna have the agent on here soon. I'm just oh shit. The fuck you doing? Okay. Compliance. Okay. Bum. Back. All right. What other opus? Error learning enforcer. Okay. We want. All right. We need error learning agent. Error learning agent. Where are you? Error learning agent. We want opus. Edit agent. Edit model. Opus. All right. Back. All right. Next one is WSP Development Coordinator. WSP Development Coordinator. WSP Development Coordinator. Edit agent. Edit model. Opus. All right. Back. All right, next one is block orchestrator. Block orchestrator, there you are. Edit model. Okay. Keep high Q. All right, let's go back. So what I'm doing right now, hey, do you guys want to just like watch what I'm doing, right? Or do you just want to stare at me? What do you guys want? You want me to put the camera on the monitor so you can watch what I'm doing? What do you guys want me to do? It will be more interesting for you. You find just talking? You want to see what I'm doing? Watching me? You guys want to watch me code? You guys want to watch me code? Hey, Janelle. All right. I'm doing something I rarely do. I rarely do. Janelle, I just upped you to managing moderator. All right. I just upped you. I just promoted Janelle to managing moderator. I like Janelle. So you can, all right. All right, Robert Rich audio. Okay. Or do you want, listen, all right. You guys want to, hey, why don't you guys do the playlist? You'll get fucking, you guys want to put playlist down? I'll just hit it. Yeah, I see that. See, I recognize that. I respect that. I honor that. I appreciate having Janelle as part of the leadership of the channel. Okay, let's type in. All right, I need that one there. YouTube. You know who's really good? How about listening to is my switch your account. View your account, home.
All right, team, we're transitioning to Slack, but tasks are still going to be on Bullfrog. Did nobody see my poppycock post? There was no clappy claps.